40 years ago this April, Brenda Wright Lafferty was an anchor for this show, back when it was known as Weeknight. A little over 2 years after her graduation from the program, Brenda and her 15-month-old baby were found murdered in her American Fork home. Universe Live reporter Amy Griffin is in the studio to talk about the history of the Brenda Lafferty case and the unlikely movement sparked by Brenda's sister. Amy?
That's right. It's a case that gripped the community and the nation back in 1984. Sharon Weeks recently walked me through the story of her sister's murder and the prosecution of her killers. Despite desperately wanting justice for her sister and baby niece, Weeks is now heading up a movement to end capital punishment in Utah. Take a look. Brenda Lafferty grew up a Latter-day Saint in Idaho. While at Brigham Young University, she anchored for Weeknight, the Department of Communications broadcast news program, alongside current professors Robert Walls and Dale Cressman.
One show together. Some editions of Weeknight are in the planning stages even for weeks.
We'll be right back.
Mere days after graduating, she married Alan Lafferty, but had no idea how joining the Lafferty family would alter her life. Her brothers-in-law, Ron and Dan, had recently joined a fringe group known as the School of the Prophets. The sect was anti-government and practiced polygamy, which caused Ron and Dan's wives to leave at the urging of Brenda. Angered, Ron claimed to have received a revelation from God. Ron claimed God told him that Brenda and her daughter needed to be removed in rapid succession. Ron and Dan fulfilled their prophecy on Pioneer Day, July 24th of 1984. They drove to Brenda and Alan's American Fork home and brutally murdered her, as well as baby Erica, who was nearly decapitated.
And I know Brenda fought like hell.
When the brothers were tried, Dan received life in prison while Ron was sentenced to death. This began the process of nearly 40 years of appeals, retrials, and competency hearings. Brenda's family, including her younger sister, had to sit through all of it.
My dad passed out in court hearing it, and he fell right over.
Weeks lost faith in the Utah court's ability to get justice for her sister, and didn't want any other family to have to go through the same disappointment. That's when she took matters into her own hands, approaching Representative Lowry Snow.
But until I heard her story, I'd never thought about the perspective from the victim.
Snow is now sponsoring a bill that he calls a repeal and replace, meant to take the death penalty off the table and replace it with options for a life sentence with no parole or a 45-year to life sentence.
When it comes to taking someone's life, there's not really room for any error.
Popular support for the death penalty is waning, especially among conservatives who have traditionally supported it. This is evident in a national organization known as Conservatives Concerned About the Death Penalty.
So for me, it's pro-life from the womb to the tomb.
Conservatives Concerned hopes to help Republicans see that the death penalty has extreme costs, both fiscal and social.
The cost is 10 times more than non-death penalty costs. It's an antiquated practice, something that is not consistent with conservative values.
For Sharon Weeks, the work continues to ensure that no other family will have to go through what the Wright family has. Despite sitting through countless trials and hearings, the family never saw Lafferty put to death. Instead, he died in the Utah State Prison of natural causes in 2019.
I have faith in my leadership in this state. I love Utah. They've fallen a little bit short, but I know they can do better.
What a difficult story. Amy, what can we expect next from this movement?
Well, Weeks and Representative Snow are preparing to present their bill in Utah's legislative session this winter, so they hope to bring more justice to Utah's criminal justice system.
Well, we have to watch for that. Thanks, Amy.